Did you know that smartphones can be an addiction just like drugs and alcohol? In this conversation, we're going to learn how we can tame technology so that it enhances and doesn't detract from our lives. Welcome to Happiness Adventure. I'm Lisa, and together we'll explore ways to cultivate real joy in our lives. Welcome, Danny.
Great to be here.
As an organizational consultant, you have a lot of insight into how technology affects our lives. How do smartphones affect our happiness?
Absolutely. Great question. One of the things that I'm passionate about is I love the intersection between technology and human interactions. Now, on one hand, smartphones are an amazing tool to be able to connect with people and to increase our happiness, whether that's keeping track of how many miles you've run or being able to FaceTime with your family members halfway around the world. But one of the dangers that smartphones provide is that they become an addictive piece where we look at certain applications in order to feed our happiness. And to be honest, it will never be able to provide real happiness. And just a small example of that is really looking at social media feeds and having this desire to be somewhere else in the world, or to be in a different relationship, or to have a new car that your friend just got, right? And there's this real proclivity to wanting what other people have, and that could really diminish our happiness. Another thing is too, perhaps when we put a picture out on Instagram, the fear of people not liking it or feeling ignored, and how dependent we are upon other people's reactions. I think that we're in a culture where we have to become more cognizant of our use and how social media and applications on our phones are actually kind of hindering our ability to be happy. One researcher experimented with this, and one group came together and they had a book, a notebook, and a smartphone on their table. It was not theirs, it was just some random one. The other control group actually didn't have a smartphone on it, but it just had a book and a notepad. They took an assessment afterwards, measuring how connected they felt with other people. And the group that had the smartphone in their presence actually showed that they had less connection with one another than the group that did not have it. And that just goes to show a very simple example of how smartphones can get in the way, even if you're having it face down on a table. That can get in the way of just saying, hey, I'm fully present here for you, because there's so many other things that are vying for our attention. So I always recommend, when you're going out to dinner with family or friends, consider putting your smartphone away. Leave that in another room. Or if you're a manager and you're talking with one of your direct reports, I would say leave that away. Put your laptop away and give them your full undivided attention. I think that happiness really happens when we can make eye-to-eye contact with people and give them a smile and say, hey, I'm here for you, I'm present, and I'm giving you my full attention.
And that's probably so much more important than being able to look up something you can't remember in the middle of the conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And since we're not going to be giving up our smartphones anytime soon, how do you recommend that we corral them?
Yeah, that's a great thought. So one thing is, I would always recommend people, number one is become aware of how much you're using your smartphone. But one thing that I did a few months ago was I began to track my own smartphone usage, and I was surprised to see that I was using my smartphone for over 3 hours a day, and that doesn't include my time on my laptop. And so I started becoming more aware of how many hours I'm spending. An app that I use is called Moment. It's a free app, and I use it just to track my usage of what apps I'm using, how many hours I'm on it, and when I want to sign off. And the second thing is, I always recommend this technique called behavioral architecture. And the idea is that when things are in front of you or on your person, we're going to use it more. So perhaps when you go home this evening, put your phone away, put it in a different room, put it in a drawer, and I would be curious to see what your gut reaction is. If you go reaching for your phone right away, or if you're looking for something because you're simply bored. That space that's created when we put our phones away gives opportunities for people to connect in a meaningful way. So people looking in somebody's eyes, or having a conversation about how your day was, or reading a book, or going for a walk. I think that when people become more aware of the smartphone usage and then become cognizant of how and when they use it, I think we have an opportunity to then be able to increase our happiness.
It all starts with awareness, right?
Absolutely.
And we'll be taking that great challenge to put our phones in the other room and see how it goes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Danny.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking to Danny Kimm, and to learn more about him, you can check out the links in the description box below, including his suggested reading list, which is awesome. It's such a pleasure to be on this adventure with you. Please like, comment, and share to participate. And before you go, subscribe to Future Happy with a bite-sized video each week.